So goodness makes you happy very easy. So if you are in the state of goodness, you become happy very easily. Okay. When you are in a mode of passion, it's a bit difficult to be happy because your desires are unlimited. But when you're in the mode of ignorance, nothing can make you happy. This is what it says in Ayurveda. Interestingly, Ayurveda, it says that if your gut health is bad, if your digestion is bad, if your overall physical and mentally you have an imbalance, that keeps you in the mode of ignorance. Your digestion is bad, you are producing whatever you are eating, you have a lot of toxins in your body, that keeps you unhappy. Interestingly, a good mind produces good gut health as well. And bad gut health also produces a toxic mind, right? Pretty easy. If you drink alcohol and expect to be happy, doesn't work. Right? You have to take that substance that can actually make you happy to actually be happy. Hmm. So your desires define what is your bar for happiness. Hmm. Right? So what makes you most happy? Let's see. Let's hear from Philomena. Can you maybe share
What
if
makes me happy?
yeah.
Um, I mean, there are lots of things that make me happy. Like sometimes things make me happy. But honestly, I think one of the times that I am the most happy is when I'm at home on the couch with my husband and when we can get both of the cats on the couch with us together. Just, everybody spending time together without the cats deciding that, only, the couch is a three creature limit. Like, but when everybody's together and we're spending quality time together, snuggled and watching, like, an enjoyable TV show or movie.
Right. Okay. So that's quite a quite a definition when you have to be in the bed. You see, that's our everybody has a certain definition by which we define our life, right? And that keeps us going. If I get this much, I'm okay. I'm happy, right? If I can maintain this level. So Ayurveda again explains that the more you are able to experience the inner self, the inner happiness, and that makes you explore. Like I was seeing the levels of concentration. So in the levels of concentration, there is something called dharana. Dharana means I'm able to focus on something for 2 hours. 2 hours is a lot of time. Like today, your reels take up what 1.5 minutes, and even that people scroll. You can't, tolerate something more than two sentences. Right? If you don't like it, immediately we change. So for you to concentrate or on something for such a long time, you need a free mind. You need a mind which is free from all past trauma. If you sit down, if your mind fills up with a lot of stressful thoughts, Right? How many of you experience that? As soon as you sit down and you get some free time, all your previous thoughts begin to instead of inspiration, all the difficulties that you have to face start dancing in front of you. Anybody experiences that? Okay. Donna is saying yes. Okay. That's something you experience, right?
No, never.
Huh? Never. Okay. you, you are Neo, the chosen one. Huh? So, so as soon as you sit down, if you get the mishmash of all these thoughts, then we are in a mode of passion. Okay, passion means your mind gets into a state. See, now understand one thing very interesting is that the moment you put your mind in that state, then you cannot stop that thought. It's like an automatic gear. So the conditions you subject yourself to, right? The reaction, you cannot stop the subsequent reaction. For example, coming back to what Philomena said, it's so, I hope I'm saying your name right. That was quite interesting. Right now, for you to actually get on bed and have those two cats and be happy, that means you would have worked really hard to have the place set up nicely, nice bed, like, and you have the time and sit down and you have that love that, you know, with the husband and like everything in place. And then your daily chores are done, you're free, that you can just spend time here, right? All your things are done. So, the scriptures explain that once you become expert at maintaining your routine, right? That's what Ayurveda says. If you have a good routine, if you have a balanced routine, healthy routine, and you you have basically balanced out your first your physical health, second your mental health, and once you get into that routine, happiness is automatic. If I have an addiction and every day I have to go overboard with that addiction, then we can never be happy. Right? Like I know some very nice people who are very good, but somehow, like few of them have certain addictions, and I've worked with some of them to help them out. Like one person, he had an addiction to drinking. Like whole day he would work really hard, then he would drink, and then that would push his next morning, make things difficult. He would get into a bad cycle. But he had to cut it off, like give up that addiction. And then his cycle was okay. But it took a lot of time. So if you are able to get rid of or not get addicted to, like tamasic, that's all mode of ignorance. If you bring your body and mind to a state of goodness, good habits, like young people today, I look back at my youth when I was young, and I wish I had the right friends. Somehow, all the friends I had were, now I look at them, it's pretty destructive. Even today, we are in a WhatsApp group, like my old school friends, and all they discuss is everything destructive. And every time somebody goes to my hometown, like some of us are in the US, some of us are in different cities in India, and every time somebody goes to meet them, it has to always be a alcohol party, something like that. Like it has to be destructive. When I look back and look at myself today, if I had got that head start, that's why when I look at my kids, my only prayer is that they never get into any bad habits. That's all. Because we are today, everything is so easy to attain. I mean, even career, if you are smart enough. The only thing that can stop you, the only thing that can stop you is you. Right? The Bhagavad Gita says, you are your greatest enemy from becoming happy. So first thing I learned to be happy is first thing is don't blame others. Right. So Dana, we got to work on it. Huh? So first thing, what do you do to become happy? Don't blame others. Take responsibility. Same, okay. Take responsibility. Now, taking responsibility can be painful. Oh my God, how am I gonna do this? Like when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I thought, okay, my wife said, I can make nice vegetable biryani and you can't eat it anymore. Like it was pretty painful. She's a amazing cook. And imagine she's rest of your life, you can't eat all the good things. So then, of course, she changed, and then our taste changed. And then we worked on it. Now, she just completed her Ayurveda master's degree. Last month, we went to her college. And she walked down the aisle. Her kids were cheering for her. It was an amazing moment for all of us. And I was doing the video, and we were so happy. Now, to in order to then control the negative effects of diabetes, I actually had to become very disciplined. Okay. And then I was trying to get some, what do you call it? Uh, some inspiring quotes. And Socrates apparently said, from discipline comes freedom. That was pretty inspiring because we don't want discipline, right? Uh, if you look at any music video on MTV, it's what was that song? Oh, my favorite song when I was in school or college, I don't remember. Free your mind and the rest will follow. It's like, okay, what do you mean free the mind? What they are trying to induce you is into drugs, or just enjoy. Just whatever you feel like, just do it. Like you have the Osho philosophy. Whatever you feel like, just do it. But there's an interesting way. What you feel like, what you develop, the desire that you develop, what you feel like, is defined by the mode you are in. The mode you are in. If you have clean habits, clean friends, good surroundings, a healthy family, then your desires are different. But like one of, I can share one incident in my life that put me through a trauma for a long time. For example, I was a little kid and my family used to send me to my grandparents' house, like town. And we had some crazy neighbor kids. And they what they did was I used to have a fear of the dark a little bit. But then every evening they used to put this Evil Dead movie for 5 days straight. It took me many years to come out of the fear of darkness after that. Because the moment you see darkness, like you imagine those, somehow you begin to imagine that somebody is standing right next to you, something is coming to you, some shadow is flowing. That fear always lurked in my mind, even in school later. I mean, if it was there, but even in college later on. And whenever it was dark and I was alone, I used to just begin to see stuff. It took me a long time to come out of it through meditation, such impressions. So, what I realized at that time was that when you are vulnerable, for example, when you are a kid, there's no control who will, what anybody will do to you, right? There's no control, like because you are helpless, you are just in that circumstance. You don't decide. Now I decide. Right now it's where I live. Okay, I set things up for myself. But when you're a kid, you're either with your friends, family, whatever. So a lot of what you are, the way your mind develops, it has a lot to do with your family when you're little. But as you grow up, it's with your friends. And that's why in the Subhashita is the Sanskrit, what we call sayings, like ancient wisdom. In that it says to find an intelligent and loyal friend is the most difficult. Right? You can have a million Facebook friends. Like there was a politician in India who was contesting an election, the last election that happened in June of last year, I think. No, this year or last. No, last year. And he had 2 million followers on Instagram, that politician. And he got 6 votes. So everybody was like, even his followers did not vote for him. Right? So you need people who you are genuine, who want you to be happy. You want you to grow. To find somebody like that, that is really lucky. Right? We know the famous dialogue of Caesar. What was that? You Brutus, you Brutus, you, right? So life is all about this. In every office, there is always everyone is trying to get the bonus. Everyone is trying to outsmart each other, trying to get a better position, raise. But to find somebody who really is, who wants to do good to you, to find such a person, then we are very fortunate. So happiness is both a combination of fortune, some things we have no control of. Okay, something we have no control of. Michael Jackson tried to change it. He wanted to be a white, but didn't work. Be happy with who you are. Right, right. Some say it's a skin issue, but some say he wanted to be change his color, whatever it was. But that's pretty difficult. Hmm. So your fortune, so it's like being in this material world is like being in a kind of jail. Is being in a kind of a difficult situation, right? And in this, to be happy, to accept your situation and to do the best out of that, right? That is the most That is the most difficult. And if you manage to do that, if you manage to be happy, if you manage to realize realize the true value, no matter who you are, the value of being a human, the value of to be the two-handed human is to be very fortunate. It is a real fortune because there are so many species. You could have been an ant, right? If you really think about it, I could have been an elephant right now or something, but I am a two-handed human with working senses in the company of some great people in the greatest of times. Like imagine even 50 years ago without the internet, people were struggling for knowledge, struggling, right, to find friends. Like now, I'm sitting in Vegas, you guys are sitting in Seattle, and we are able to like discuss so easily. We are able to be in the same room, right? So I would say anybody who is alive right now and is not making the best use of their situation, that's a little unfortunate, right? What do you say, ING? Is that uh,
You might be in the car.
might
So
be- okay? What do you think, Manya?
yeah, I think it's sometimes maybe I'll see people who are maybe going through addiction or something that doesn't seem like the right way to spend your life. But then I'll feel grateful that I have a little bit of intelligence to like at least try to work on myself. But also just like feeling sympathy for others, maybe who are going through that and like giving them a helping hand. And but yeah.
Very beautiful point. That reminds me, the main point I wanted to put forward in the end. First thing is we have to consider ourselves very fortunate. And what you said, there are two things that make us really happy. One is compassion. If you cultivate this one quality, right, consider yourself very fortunate no matter what problems you have. Mm. Consider yourself very fortunate if you have all your senses working and if you are in a situation where you are able to have spiritual friends. You are super fortunate. And that should bring about compassion that no matter what, I want to do good. Mm. Like the nature of a Brahmin or a spiritual person is said to be that of compassion. Mm. So one Brahmin was offering prayers. He was in Ganges river, half in the water, and he was praying. And suddenly one scorpion bit him. The story goes. So because the scorpion bit him, his reaction is like, like, to throw. But then he feels compassion. After he overcomes the pain, he immediately tries to take the scorpion out of the water. But the scorpion again bites him. So then again his hand goes this way. So again the scorpion goes into the water. Again he tries to pick it up. Okay. So the guy who was standing next to him, he asked him, "Why are you playing this game? Why are you? Why is the scorpion biting you and you are throwing it back? What is this?" He says, "The scorpion cannot give up its nature. I cannot give up my nature. I want to help the scorpion get out of the water, but whenever I try to pick him up, he bites me. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to help him, right?" So that's not easy because people change with situation, with circumstance, with age. So consider yourself very fortunate. The path of being righteous, the path of yoga, the path of meditation is one filled with so much possibility, so much happiness, so much abundance. So if we take to this path in whatever way or capacity we can, with this mentality that I am only going to do good, I am going to only try to find good and be with the honest, and we should do it intelligently as well. We should try to do it, execute it in an intelligent way. Intelligent way means find the right people, find the right person, be patient, and always be compassionate, because we get what we desire in this world. See, the world reciprocates. We get what we deserve. So if you have that outlook, if you cultivate that outlook of compassion, love, sympathy, and where we try to improve, but it should be very intelligently done, and that requires a lot of inner meditation. First of all, have that desire, and then you see that a lot of coincidences happen. Believe it or not, yesterday I go to a house here. The whole family, I teach yoga to the whole family. Like, we have a family class. And in the end, we started talking about Krishna and how beautiful is Krishna, and Krishna is this, Krishna is that, and a lot of beautiful things. And suddenly, that lady's mother, she came from a shop outside and she brought a most beautiful picture of Krishna, believe it or not. At the end, she suddenly made an entry with that beautiful picture and she started showing us. We were all like shell shocked, in ecstasy, because we were talking about how beautiful Krishna is, and all of a sudden he appeared. It was like, what a coincidence. Huh? So then we realized it was not just a coincidence. Hmm. So you attract the energy that you build up, that you cultivate, right? So we should always strive to build up uh, compassion, spiritual consciousness, trying to help others with a sincere attitude. Then you will see the what you give, cultivate, build up. Nature reciprocates in the same way. Hmm? So build up that desire. So your desire and fulfillment and happiness depends on what you build up. So always keep that in your heart. Compassion, trying to do good, the path of spirituality, yoga, and then you will see that happiness is second nature. But first we have to build up, we have to cultivate good habits, we have to build up a good routine, good diet. That's very important. That takes a little bit of research, but once you build up that routine, diet, lifestyle, everything will come automatically. That's the secondary result of that. Okay. All right. So I will stop at this point. Anybody would like to share something? Then we can take it from there.
I have to say, the risk of keeping anybody else from speaking is somebody else has something to say. Please don't let me, again, don't let me take over the whole picture.
Can you be a bit louder? I can't hear. It's a bit fuzzy.
Okay. If somebody else wants to speak, don't let me take over everything here.
Okay, sure. All right.
I did have something to say.
Yeah. Maybe Dana would like to share something. Then maybe Philomena.
I think that this was exactly what I needed to hear. I mean, I think that it's amazing how a lot of it too comes back to when you start to do these things and you start to really cultivate these practices and taking care of yourself, like you need that in order for like everything else to kind of grow off of, kind of like having that foundation. I'm noticing if I don't have that, how like everything just seems to kind of fall in, and it makes it harder mentally to like they all play off of each other. And you're, I don't know, everything you said I just needed to hear because I've been going through just a really tough time right now, and I'm just noticing how, yeah, how it's easy to want to reach for like a quick fix or a short-term fix, but it's not, it doesn't, obviously it's short-term, it's called that for a reason, and it's so easy to just keep running back in that same like circle, and breaking the cycle is just like, whew, it's tough. And it's tough to trust that when you're breaking the cycle, whether it's mental, physical, diet, whatever, like that it to trust. Like I think that's where like the trust comes in, is like this, it feels like really awful at first, or like I can't do this, or like mentally there's sometimes this resistance, but it's like to keep sticking it through. I think that's where I often like stumble, where it's like trust the, you hear that saying like trust the process, or whatever. And I think that's where like having great support and like encouragement, like this class, and your insights and the confidence and enthusiasm that you bring to this helps one feel, or for myself, like, okay, there's hope maybe, in breaking these cycles um that I've been looping through for a lot of years. And some of it is conditioning from childhood that I have to break, and breaking that, I've noticed a lot of the other things that I've used to kind of deal with those things. And so it's like this layer on top of layer. And so I'm rambling, but this was a really great class. I really appreciated it very much.
Right. No, good things take time. Childhood habits, sometimes it is said, sometimes it becomes even impossible to overcome. So to really break that cycle, it takes some real effort. So yeah, never give up. I would say, never give up. Right. So that's the thing. Would you like to share something, Philomena? Maybe? No? Okay. All right. I think that was pretty. I'm happy all of you could get something out of it, out of this experience. Yeah. Okay. All right then. So if there's any questions or comments, then we can wind up. Yeah.
I did have a question about you dealing with diabetes through Ayurveda, because I am a type 2 diabetic. I was diagnosed 9 years ago. And you're talking about addictions. I'm not necessarily addicted to alcohol, but I have been sober for a year and a half. The doctor told me, okay, you need to stop alcohol altogether. Okay. But sugar is probably my biggest weakness. I've told the group here in past sessions, too much gulab jamun.
Okay.
That's one weakness of mine. Whenever I go to an Indian store or go to an Indian restaurant, always have gulab jamun for dessert. No more. But I enjoyed the discussion about the Brahmin and the scorpion, because I used to be extremely arachnophobic. Spiders would just freak me out, and I'd see one, bam. But I've gotten to the point where I see spiders, even ones that kind of crawl into the house. I'm in the Seattle area, so we don't have dangerous spiders for the most part. Black widows, maybe, but I'll see a spider and I'll toss it back outside. Or if I see one outside on the ground, put it up in a tree somewhere, because if it's a web spinner, they can spin the web and obtain their food that way. They eat bugs, pests. So people have asked me, "You want to get rid of your spiders?" I said, "Why?" But I was curious about how you deal with blood sugar. I mean, are you insulin dependent, or you discipline yourself enough to where you don't need insulin?
No, I regularly we make herbal ghee. So I do a regular cleanse with the ghee.
Okay.
And I also do yoga every day. So when you do yoga, practice yoga an hour and a half, or you can do even 30 minutes if you do. If you practice, then you will see that you'll be able to regulate what you eat. Diabetes, what happens is you overeat, and then your body becomes kind of loose. And then once your body is loose, then you just keep eating. Most diabetics have that problem, just keep eating. So the real answer is to discipline and to practice exercising, yoga. That keeps your muscles strong, even the belly becomes loose otherwise. So if you keep your body pressure, body balance good, then that desire to overeat will go away. Like every morning I practice, I see if I've overeaten the previous day, I see the difficulty. So I'm trying to be extremely careful every day so that I can practice the next day.
So you have a special ghee that you prepare for.
Right. It's on our website, Food for the Soul. Yeah. I mean, if you need more details, you can text me. But we make a herbal ghee, because in Ayurveda, what happens is, in diabetes, what happens is your ojas, your energy goes away. So the ghee restores the ojas. Take some time, and then you do a detox with it. It removes all the toxins and you feel better. Yeah.
I have to say one more thing about Julius Caesar. Yeah, I remember hearing the "et tu, Brute."
I see. Okay. In Greek.
Latin.
Latin. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people confuse Greek and Latin. Of course, words Greek and Latin actually have Sanskrit origin. Indo-European. Some words come to us, through Indo-European.
I see. Okay, that was wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Check out your website. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put the link in the chat if anyone wants to check it out or get more advice later on. But thank you so much for this session. I enjoyed your talk on association and how you were sharing whoever.
Oh, well, yeah, I think you're locking up.
Okay. That's what happened. Right. Okay.
Also, love the talk about the cats.
Okay. Okay.
I had an aunt who was a cat person, and she said, "Yes, dogs have owners, cats have staff."
Or you associate with, you become like. Sorry, am I back?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I broke down. But I was saying I appreciated your the topic that you touched with association and the story with your high school friends and now what they're doing now. And then the lesson about compassion was also really sweet. And I was able to recognize it more in my life. And yeah, thank you so much for talking to our group and coming along. And we can't wait to see you again and welcome you back to Wisdom Wednesdays.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Thank you,
That's
everyone,
great.
for
Yeah.
joining.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you
We'll
so
see
much.
Okay. Bye.